Right, just a quick video trying to help Sir Lord Whitley out. Now, just to specify, I've got all Spectrum gear. I've never seen any Hobby King gear. I'm not sure what it looks like. Most receivers, in my experience, are all pretty much printed the same. Now, on my receiver here, you probably can't see it very well. I've got gear, rud, elev, ail, throttle. So it's gear, rudder, elevator, aileron, throttle. And I've got my bind plug down the bottom. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to start with the gear. I've got the nose gear, which is plugged into a triple lead, and then the other two separate parts of the lead will plug into both of your leads from your main gear. It's important that you get all of the colours lined up, so you've got yellow, red and brown. It may be white, red and black, but whatever happens, white will be your signal, orange will be your signal, black will be negative, brown will be negative. So what I'm going to do here, on my receiver, I've got a couple of little emblems at the bottom. I've got a strange little sort of two little, I wouldn't even know how to describe them. Looks like a little upside down table. That's your signal. And then you've got your plus in the middle, which is your live, and then your negative on the outside. Now the way that's printed on a receiver is the way that you want to put your wires. So my signal's saying it's that side and my negative's that side. So I'm going to go with the black on the outside and the signal on the inside. Excuse me, these are quite fiddly even for my fingers. Now I'll try and remember how all of these went. Okay, what we got next? Rudder. So rudder isn't actually going to be your rudders, it's going to be your nose steering, and that is the unmarked lead. I've just got it unmarked here on mine. I have used some of my own leads, but I mean, if you follow the servo that operates the nose gear back, that will plug straight into your rudder. If I can find it, there it is. Again, signal will go the same way. I've got yellow signal on this one rather than a white signal. I hate these things, these are really fiddly. There we go, we've got that in there. Try not to damage the wires as you push them in. Okay, the next one on I've got there is elevator. I made a note here, number 2. So I'm presuming you've got the same little numbers on these. So number 2 goes into your elevator. Get a better hold of it here. Signal again the same way. And I've got number 5 I've got down as the ailerons. So I may have used my own lead here on this. Again, signal point in the right direction in which the receiver tells you to point it. Okay, and we need the throttle cable now, which is what comes from your ESC. Now, I'd ignore the other split lead I've got on here because I've got that running into the lights as well. That does run into your UBC, so your UBEC will need to basically plug into a wire lead. So one side of the wire lead your UBEC, the other side your actual ESC, and then that wire lead can be plugged into your throttle, again with the signal heading the same way. I'm just going to check here, I've got my blacks and browns all this side, which is what it's telling me. Now that's all plumbed up. Another thing to note as well, it is good to tidy the wires, bring them all forward so that a suction of the fan can't pull the wires back into the fan. That's the last thing you want to happen, because that normally would result in complete devastation. Let's just drop the battery in it. So I'm only just going to sit that in there loose. Now, got my radio gear. Make sure your aerial's up at an angle. I'm already plumbed into my vampire here, and there's something else I'm gonna quickly show you. Now I know my gear switch is in the position to have the gear down on the model. So I'm going to go and reverse that. I'm going to pull that switch back. So now in theory, with a lot of models, when you arm the model, the retracts will fold up. In this instance, it should have a fail-safe, and the gear should make a funny little grate noise when it's not the right direction when you arm it. Now all of this should power up. I've got a 4-cell in there, I should get 4 bleeps, and then I should get its little arming tone. The last little arming tone after the 4 bleeps is the ESC arming, telling you that everything is fine. So I'm going to go and plug it in. Okay, so there was 4 bleeps there for the cell, and then the arming tune. Is the gear going to make a noise? No, it's not. Right. I'm going to flick the switch. Nothing should happen, and I'll flick the switch back. There we go. Nothing's happened. That's put them in their proper position. So I had the actual switch on retract, and the gear didn't fold up when I armed it. You can see it's got that. It has got that as fail-safe device on it. Now I can go ahead and pull the retracts up. All the retracts are up. Oh, kind of damage all in. Never mind. Right, now I've got ailerons. Make sure, check that they're set to the right way. You don't want to take off and you pull the aircraft one way and it goes the other way. I've got elevator. Again, check when you pull back on your elevator, the elevator pulls up, and when you push the stick up, the elevator goes down. Now, the ESC armed after its cell count, so we should have throttle. Got throttle. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to now disconnect the battery, and I'm going to slightly put the throttle up. Now what this should do, it should give me my cell count, because it is binded, so it'll tell you it's binded by giving you your cell count. And I shouldn't get the last little singing tune, the little arming tone, because it would be telling you it's on fail-safe and the throttle's up. Right, it's telling me the throttle's armed. I don't know if this is a similar thing to what you're encountering. To fix this, I'm going to pull the throttle back, and it's armed itself. Now I'm going to try something a bit different here. I'm going to disconnect the battery again. You may have your throttle all the way back and still be sitting there thinking, why is it bleeping at me? Well, if you've got all of your wires in the receiver the right way, and you're telling me you're getting an aileron and elevator, they're all in right, so it comes down to your ESC. So what I'm going to do now, I'm on neutral trims here. I'm going to pull the trims up a little bit. Now what this should do, because I've got the trims up, even though the stick's down, it will probably still tell me that the throttle's armed. Right, it's giving me my cell count. But it's not armed. If I push the stick up, I'll get no more throttle. If I pull the stick down, it's still not arming. It's right at the bottom, it's not arming. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all of my throttle trim all the way down. There we go. And it's just armed itself. I've got throttle. So that's an important thing to consider, is your throttle trim's down, and make sure that either your throttle on your digital radio gear or on your little single flick switches is to the right orientation. That's pretty much it. That's all I can explain to you. Put all the wires in with the signal the right way and the negative the right way, according to from the servo you run it from, whether it's your ailerons, run it back into the aileron plug, and it all should work fine, providing you've got your throttle trimmed down, it's not reversed, and all your throttle's back, it should arm up. Well, that's all I can do to help you, so any more problems, give us a shout and we'll go from there. Thank you.